So first thing is what? I have to distinguish that I am not this mind. Okay. I am not this mind, but I am that wielder of this mind. Mane, I am the one who is having this instrument of the mind, right? And this same instrument, so, would you say that, oh, do you mean to say that mind, don't mind? So, how do we address this? So, when we say this, what it means is, when I come in contact with the world, right, this mind is going outward. Why? Because within me also is this vasanas, right? The inborn impressions which have gathered over lifetimes. Ah, and these inborn impressions, when they come across a conducive or atmosphere, they will surface. So when I see ice cream and I say that, oh, I love that, so that I love that, right? That raga I have towards it, right? Which will be what raga matlab? I have some kind of attachment towards that. So what should I do? I have money in my pocket and the ice cream is right in front of me. Why not indulge? So chalo, right? And then what happens? Maybe that day, that machine, no, in which, that fridge in which that ice cream was stored, the power went off. So it melted. And then it is not tasting the same. And I said, Arey, this is not the same. Bhaiya, what is this? What have you given me? Right? So here, what happens? The dislike arises. So next time I might pass the same shop, but I will say that no, caution. This ice cream fellow doesn't keep store that ice cream well. So immediately my mind will say, no, I don't want here, right? I might take the ice cream, but I might take it somewhere else. So like this, we keep associating our mind with the sense objects and acting on them. And what further for whichever object, for whichever place, for whatever situations we encounter, for whatever people that we come across. So this is the cycle that we get into, and this trap keeps us there from time to time. But then how do I come out of it? Because it seems to be like an endless pattern. But if you have recognized this pattern, then great. Raise your hand, pat yourself on the back, right? That you have at least started on that path where you say that I know where my mind is taking me, but I need not go there, right? So what is then is the solution is that I recognize, become aware, and work intelligently towards it, right? So are we living? So we recognize that this mind is both pure and impure. Pure is what? Pure is that which is desireless, and impure is what? That which is full of desires, right? So then we have to try and recognize, am I living out of my wrong notions, that of seeing completeness outside of me, or am I living out of full intelligence which has recognized that happiness is within me? I don't have to project it outside on objects and get bound, right? So this is something that I have to reflect on a daily basis. Okay? What is the pattern that I am seeing in my thinking, and how do I withdraw from it? Not that I completely withdraw. Then what happens? Suddenly there will be one full gush of I want this and I will take this, right? So what we have to do is we have to identify how our mind is functioning and slowly give it something higher to hold on to. It's like it's like a child, right? You don't want the child to play in a certain place or play with a certain object. Therefore what do? You give him a much more appealing kind of a toy, and you say, sit here, play with this, right? Then the child leaves that other, gadget, and it says, okay, let me sit here and play, right? So too, this is the mind, and we have to kind of rope it in so that it does what we want it to do. But for that, our intellect has to become supreme, right? So here, this verse, second verse from Amrita Bindu Upanishad, which says, Mana कारणं बन्धमोक्षयोः बन्धाय विषयासक्तं मुक्तैः निर्विषयं स्मृतम्. So when do we become free of this bondage of the mind towards objects? When we are able to detach from the world of objects. So what is required then? So मन को विषयों से निकालो, विषय आसक्ति निकालिए, और मन को कहाँ डाले? Put it, attach it to that higher. Detach from the lower to attach it to the higher. But this has to be a constant practice on a daily basis till we get into that mode, right? So when I'm free of desires from sense objects, then the mind is free and available, right? Because you can't keep the mind free also, because the mind needs something to hold on to, right? Therefore, give it something higher to hold on to. So even if I'm doing, if I love working, then what should I do? I should do that which I love doing. Okay, like when we say swadharma, right? What is swadharma? That I recognize that which my mind is inclined to do. It could also be my mind is inclined to take care of my family, right? And do good things for the benefit of my family. Or as I go higher up, I say that my family is not restricted to only my circle of people, but I extend this family circle. That it is not just the 3-4 people around me, but maybe a bigger community, and then I serve them in a different way, right? So like this, when I learn to expand it, I give it more channels to do good things, then that mind will become purer. Then that mind will drop that attachment for what? For this ego. That ahankara also has to be dropped. That ahankara has to be sublimated. It has to be saying that, okay, I am doing this for the service of all. So, oh Bhagwan, you bless me. With what? With this buddhi, right? Subuddhi of what? Ishwara Arpana Buddhi and Prasada Buddhi. So what is Ishwara Arpana Buddhi? Whatever I am doing, I offer it to the Lord, right? I am doing it as worship unto the Lord, and then as a result, what I get, I take it as prasad. So there is no kind of agitation ki why did I get this? I had done my best, then why did it come to me like this, right? So when we say Ishwara Arpan Buddhi, there is that devotion, there is that reverence, there is that love, there is that unconditional giving, right? In a attitude of surrender to that Lord. So when we say this, right, we have to know that, but I have come to this class to learn Vedanta. Why you're telling me bhakti and all, right? So here, then when we ask, isn't knowledge enough? The Upanishads are saying that, what is the Upanishad saying? That Aham Brahmasmi, right? The Upanishad is saying Aham Brahmasmi or Tattvamasi. So what is it saying? It is saying that there is only one, there is no many, right? So isn't this knowledge enough, sufficient to, make me peace and calm? Or isn't it enough that I do yoga half an hour daily or 1 hour daily, that I go for a walk, that I do good deeds? Isn't that sufficient? Then it says that first let us look at as this system that we have. Huh? So are you able to see this chart? It is called the BMI chart. Huh? So where Om or the Om is that it indicates that highest, okay, what we call the Brahman, right? Or what we call that universal Purusha, or where what we say is that consciousness, which is in me, which is in you, which is that oneness alone, right? So that Om is signifying that. But sitting between that Om uh, and my body, mind, intellect equipment is this vasanas. So what are those vasanas? They are like those seeds which are waiting for the conducive atmosphere to be sprouted, right? When we say sprouted, what do you mean? So, just like if you sow the seeds, it requires good amount of good soil, it requires manure, it also requires sufficient sunlight, and then somewhere that ankur will come, that it will sprout, and when it will sprout, then it will go branch out, right? So too these vasanas are there, right? If you, these vasanas are what? They are earlier impressions which have been formed. So I had some experience before which was good or which was bad. Good will keep me wanting for more, and bad will say, no, 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 stay away from this, right? But when I say no, 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 I am also repeating it, right? So that also becomes a vasana. So this is forming our raga and dvesha. So the moment there is a conducive atmosphere, the vasana will sprout unexpectedly out of the blue. And that will give rise to that desire. And that desire, when there is some kind of fanciful thinking around it. Fanciful mane kya? Means I'm not thinking intelligently. I'm just allowing my thought train to move, right? And I say, okay, I like this. So let's go for it. Or I say that, no, let's stay away and consciously stay away from it, right? So these two, they come into play, right? And that is what is causing some kind of agitation where in my mind. And if my mind is, so powerful where a lot of thoughts are coming, and each time I let the thought train take me away from my object of object or purpose of living, which is what I have got this human birth. And in this human birth, I have the intelligence, right, of this intellect, which can discriminate between what is good, what is bad, what I should do, what I should not do. And if I am able to observe the mind, then I recognize a pattern, then I can also break away from that pattern, right? So that is this power of this intellect, right, which is an educated mind. But if my mind is immature and it is saying that chalo, let's go, be with the flow, na? Who is going to live again and again? Enjoy, be happy, right? But that be happy when it comes to objects is limited, right? It is just temporary happiness which is going to lead to what? Some kind of pain, some kind of sorrow, which is not going to give me lasting happiness. And therefore, I am stuck in this cycle between my body, mind, and intellect, right? Between being perceiver, perceiver of objects through my body and my senses, between being a mind which is a feeler. Feeler of what? Feeler of emotions. They might be good emotions, they might be bad emotions, right? But basically, that mind is just that feeler. And whatever emotions arise, we tag them as good or bad, right? And then you have the intellect, which is thinker, which is contemplating on the thoughts which arise. But what we don't see is that if I have the awareness of these thoughts, then I also have the power to stop that thought train or direct it towards something which is higher. Or not just that, but I also have the power to regulate my quantity of thoughts as well as quality of thoughts. How do we know this? Well, normally, how does the mind function? The mind functions when it comes in contact with the world of objects. And when I go to sleep, what happens? When I am in deep sleep, no thought, right? And the mind is at ease. And therefore, when I wake up in the morning, I am feeling nice, fresh. I had a kind of a refresher. I slept well. I don't know where I was, but I just felt like I'm fully recharged and able to take on the next day, right? Whereas that same mind, when it is with the objects, always chattering. Let's do this. We have to today. I have to finish this work. I have to finish my exercise cycle. I have to submit, whatever reports. I have to take care of the kids. I have to work on my long-term project. So all the time the mind is restless. When it is in this Jagrata Avastha, where I am in the waking state, where I am engaging with the world. So too in my dream, what happens? Whatever I had started in my waking state and I was not able to complete, right? Or some thoughts which I started, couldn't complete, but was moving towards again and again, they fructify as that dream, right? And there too, the mind is busy in that matter connection, right? So this is how our equipment works. So again, going back to, can Vedanta help me? Isn't the knowledge that I am that Brahman or I am that one sufficient? And if it is sufficient, then why am I not happy? Because Vedanta is saying that I am happiness. So here then says that yes, Vedanta is telling me the truth alone, and the gurus are telling me the right thing. But am I ready for this knowledge? Because I have got so much this body, this mind, this this karana avastha, the karana sharira which I have, the causal body is full of vasanas, waiting to erupt, right? My subtle body, sukshma sharira, is also of that outgoing nature, right? Because my body is in contact with the senses and sense objects. So first, what do I have to do? I have to prepare this equipment, which is right now full. This mind, it is full, and therefore it is not able to retain that small bit of information which has come into it, which is telling it, oh mind, you are not my master, but you are my instrument, which I will use to recognize my own nature and abide in it. But for that, what is important is I have to empty out this mind, right? But this mind is how? This mind is that which always seeks more. It just keeps seeking more and more and more. And therefore, what is first important? We have to polish it. We have to remove its impurities, then make it. Impurities are what? In the form of desires. So we have to curb these desires. Then if you say that, won't karma work? We are saying karma yoga and all that. Won't karma work? So again over there, karma, any action that I do is going to result in more actions, right? Because that action is going to give me a result of that action. That karma phala will come, right? And if I like that action, because I'm so focused on that action, I like it and I'm doing it for a result that I am looking forward to, expecting. So my expectations are there. Whenever I am acting, whenever I want, I need for what? For that happiness alone. So any action I do is going to result in more, right? So therefore, what do? I take the path of karma yoga, where I, again, what did we say? What is karma yoga? Ishvara arpana buddhi and prasada buddhi. So these I have to first ingrain in my mind. That hey mind, first you keep that higher order in mind. Who is that Ishta, or who is that to whom I am offering all my actions? And through that dutifulness towards that Lord, I will act in the world outside. So again, for that, what is important? More sadhana is required, in terms of not just karma, but also some amount of upasana, which will give me purity, right?